I'm Johnny Scoville, and this is Chase the Heat. So what we're going to do today, it sounds funny, doesn't it? All right, so look, here's the deal. The other day I did a video where I talked about sobriety. I'm adjusting myself, sorry. I was talking about sobriety and I had a lot of emails. When I say a lot, over 20. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but 20 people, more than 20 people said, I've got a problem and I need help. Anyway, let me get started on bike ride. I don't know how long I'm gonna ride today. We're gonna talk about sobriety. Now, 20, I don't know, I should have counted. Over 20 though, emails I got where someone, believe it or not, most of them were alcohol. So we're gonna talk about it. And one of them, all of them, just got me to the point where it almost had me in tears, and I wanna help. So we're gonna talk about it. So, there are sometimes I make videos for views. Today I'm making a video to save people. I don't care. Listen, let's say the number was 25. 25 people emailed me. If only 25 people watch this, but man, if it's the right 25 people, that's all that matters to me. Okay? So that's what we're going to talk about. We'll talk about my story a little bit about, first of all, who is this video for? I kind of learned that, I don't know. Listen, if you're watching this, maybe it's for you. Maybe somebody just likes hanging out listening to me, but chances are if you're watching this, it's because there's something going on. You know what's great about an addict? Is that they'll never look down their nose at you or judge you for anything. We have all been there. I will not judge you for anything. I've also learned that the most important thing is that you get sober. How you get sober, and what means you use. There's some people do meetings. Listen, whatever you got to do to keep yourself from using is what you got to do. So we're going to talk about that. So if you're watching, if you're still watching, it's a good thing we're watching this together. We're doing this together. So now I should give you a little bit of history on me. And this is probably, I should say this is not a video for the young kids. 12, 13 and up, you betcha. It's younger and younger all the time, but the real little ones, probably not. But this is just a wickedly truthful video, because if one person can get a little bit of help, motivation or something, inspiration from this video, it's worth it. By the way, I do want to tell you, this video is brought to you by ES Power Drink. GFG, baby. Supercharge your body. This has Trinidad Muruga Scorpion in it. Best tasting power drink I have ever had. The official drink of Chase the Heat. It's tragic I ever have to drink anything else. All right, so in my time, I have abused or been addicted to everything. The ones that I didn't get addicted to, trust me, I abused them all. And there's no point in asking me, oh, did you do this? Just yes, all of them. Except the new designer ones, because I haven't done any real drugs in I quit doing drugs, all the hard drugs, about 14 years ago. And on April 10th, it'll be 5 years for alcohol, okay? But we're going to talk about alcohol because most of the 20 some odd videos, emails I got were about drinking. It's a tough one. It's one of the tougher ones, I think, because it's pushed on you. I tell the story a lot, but I was with a friend of mine in the sauce community. We were talking about a collab. We were in Reno. He came to visit me. We went to a casino and had dinner. Talking business. He had a drink. I was sober at the time, so I had a cranberry juice. And he said, hey, my man, you want me to put some vodka in the cranberry juice for you? I said, no, thank you. He's okay. So we had our dinner. I guess while we were doing our dinner, they had a shift change with waiters. So he came over, he says, you know, so-and-so's left, I'll be taking over from here. Is there anything I can help you with? Can I get you some more drinks? I said, no, you can't. I'll have another cranberry drink. He goes, hey, can I put some vodka in that for you, my man? I looked at the guy I was with. So, the reason I say that, no one's ever going to say, hey, come on, let me give you some crack. Let me give you a little bit more cocaine or whatever. They don't do that, but alcohol, they do. They do. I've worked restaurants. I've been a waiter. I've been everything. I've been a waiter. And when you're waiting at a table that isn't drinking, get them out of there as quick as you can. Because they aren't going to spend a lot of money. You aren't going to get much of a tip. You get a table in there that's drinking, you tack on double what they're going to pay. Your tip's bigger. So it's just kind of the thing. It's pushed in our face, always. And that is the truth. So, alcohol is a tough one. I personally decided one day I just wasn't going to drink anymore because I was drinking all the time. And I'm not, you know, lead guitarist in a band. I'm Johnny Scoville. I eat peppers. So I wanted to stop. So I quit. Now, a couple things about people, about the whole thing. Like, this is something, my brother, Tommy Scoville, has a YouTube channel called The Lifeboat. Check it out. It's for sobriety. And one thing that he says often, and I agree with it 100%, is that the opposite of if you polled 100 people and said, what is the opposite of addiction? I'd be willing to bet you that 75% of them would say sobriety or sober living. But what he says on the Lifeboat, what I say here, and what I believe in my heart, is that the opposite of addiction is connections. And here's why I say that. If you're still watching this, maybe you're trying to quit something. If you're in an active addiction, what happens is this. When you begin using, first of all, it doesn't happen overnight. You don't wake up an addict, addicted to something. You start using it, and then you like it. And you start using it more. And then it becomes an addiction. What happens when you become addicted is you wall yourself away. What you essentially do is push all the good things in your life away from you. Because you're essentially living two different lives. And you know what I'm talking about. So what ends up happening is you push, you know, depending on what your drug of choice is, sometimes, the only connections you have are other people that do that. If it's something, that drug with you, or you get it from, or if it's something you do alone. Either way, what you do is you wall yourself off and you become isolated. The opposite of addiction is connections. For instance, let me give you a good example of that. On April 10th, almost 5 years ago, I quit drinking. I didn't tell you guys about it. I've gone 2.5 miles. I didn't tell you guys about it. What I did was, and I didn't do it for a reason. I would have inevitably have got, well, go a year and talk to us or whatever. So I didn't tell anybody. Quit drinking. Didn't tell you guys immediately. Let me tell you, I was trying to decide what order to tell you this. I'll tell you this. I came out of the addiction closet 1 year later, on April 10th, 4 years ago. I did a video where I chugged a bottle of plutonium extract, 9 million. Gargled it, actually. But in that video, I said, I'm sober today for 1 year. And I apologized for being fraudulent, because I felt like I was fraudulent, because I said for years, run at your problems, don't run away from them. And I was drinking while doing this. I was running from those problems. So I felt like a coward. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you this is I didn't say in that video, now, if you're drinking too much, I think you should do what I do. I never did that. I am not that guy. You hear me? I'm not. I'm just not. You guys know me if you watch me. I'm not that guy. However, what ended up happening was people started talking and connecting. And now, if you knew how many people will say that their sobriety is due in part to this channel, you'd flip. It's not me. You know what it is? Connections. Well, also, when you become invested in somebody else's sobriety, watch what it does for yours. We always suggest, and this is what have a 5. That's what we call it, 5. What I mean by that is have 5 people Wow, was that good? Have 5 people in your phone that when you have that day and you're like, you know the day I'm talking about, and you want to use, you got to call them. I'm going to talk more about the 5 in just a minute. When I quit, I told my kids. I immediately, that morning, I called a friend of mine. And I said to them, can you imagine me letting a person or somebody control me? And they laughed. And they said, no. I said, well, why would I let a liquid do it? Something in a bottle with no IQ, no brain, no heart, no conscience, no soul, no mind. But I'll let a liquid control me? Nah. I'm never drinking again. That's what I said. So I called my kids, all 3 of them. That was fun. Can't tell you how good a time that was. Calling my baby girl and saying, your dad's a lush, but daddy's gonna fix it. Calling my sons. Telling my mom and dad. No one said, my family was amazing. They were all supportive. But I jumped into my sobriety. I was stoked about it. I didn't tell everybody here that I quit drinking. But I told a few people. But I was stoked about my sobriety. I was fired up. I downloaded an app. Right now, I've gone 3.7 miles. You can see it right there. But I want to show you something. Where is it? Right above the YouTube app, right? 3rd one down, 2nd column over. 3 diamonds, blue, green, and light blue. See it? 3rd row down, I am sober. Download that app. By the way, I'll go back to Yasul, and there I am again. This bike is amazing. Anyway, download that app. I got stoked about it. I look at it, I'm like, man, there's 1 day behind me. And on that app, I was really honest when I set it up, because it says to you, how old are you? How much do you drink? How much are you spending a day or a week? I can't remember how it was. How much time do you spend a day doing what you do? Doing your drug of choice, whatever. And, I saved $13,000 or $15,000. Got some cool guitars, so I guess that's where it went. But I kind of think that it was very, very significant in my journey of sobriety to talk to my family and tell my kids and tell everybody, and instead of doing it silently. Now, in fairness, I didn't tell you guys. I waited for a year. But to my immediate family, my close friends, I told them. And to me, it was kind of like burning the bridges, Burning your ships, excuse me. Burning your ships. You guys ever hear that story? I don't know if it's true. This is how I was told the story. I'm sure a lot of you heard it. Cortez, pirate, surrounded by enemy. And I don't remember the ratio, but it was brutal. Like, I think they had 3 or 5 ships or something to like 20 of the enemy. Outnumbered horribly. And as the legend has it, Cortez, somebody will correct me, maybe it's somebody else, but that's the story that I heard. Cortez ordered his men to set the boats on fire and all rowed to the island that was right behind them. Small little island. Anyway, I'm sorry. Can you say that again? Said, row to the island, burn the boats, burn the ships. And as the story goes, they did. They all got on the island, and Cortez gathered his men and said, now, gentlemen, we've got something worth fighting for. So me, in my mind, calling my children was burning my ships, saying, I'm committed. This is it. And that was important to me. Coming out on the 1-year anniversary of my sobriety, on a bigger scale, that was burning the ships with all you guys, saying, this is it. That's who I am. So, but connections. So many people are going to tell you that their sobriety has something to do with this show, which I have never. I think this may be the first video that's really about sobriety. I don't know, maybe I've done it in a few lives and I've addressed it, but not like this. Okay, so I would download that app and be honest when you fill the information out. Another thing is you need to begin journaling. Journaling. Number one, every successful person I know, you find somebody who's at the top of their game, and I don't care what genre, I don't care what space, entertainment, sports, and I'm serious now, they journal. Journal. It's an important thing to do. You got to journal like that no one's ever going to read that. These are for your eyes only, because if you're journaling thinking someone's going to read it, you're not going to be true to yourself. But what happens when you journal, what happens when I journal, is I'll write stuff down. At the end of the week, I'll look back at what I've written. If for 4 days in a row I'm writing about the same problem, what ends up happening is my journal becomes my therapist. And it basically says to you, dude, you want to write it again? You're going to change today. You're going to do the same thing you did yesterday. You're going to do something different so that tomorrow you write something different in your journal. But journaling is important. Just telling you to journal. The 5 is important. Let me have a little more of my ES power drink. Let's talk about the 5. Here's the 5. The idea behind the 5 is this. You've had a bad day. Here's the thing. Bad days don't scare me. As far as using, great days scare me. But let's say you've had a great day or a bad day and you feel like you're using, you want to use, or whatever. What you do is you call somebody in your 5 and you talk to them. That's why it is imperative that it's nobody sober in your 5. I don't mean sober. I mean sober now, but nobody who hasn't gone down the road. You follow me? Because let's say the number 1 in your 5 is a family member who's never had a problem with alcohol or drugs or anything. And you call and you tell them, I don't want to drink. I'm having problems. I want to go do whatever. They're going to say, toughen up. Dig down. It's tough enough. They do not get it. So I think it's do not have somebody in your 5 that's not somebody who's a sober person. And in a perfect world, I don't mean 2 days sober. Somebody with some sobriety under the belt. Now, here's the thing. We know what we're good at as people. We're good at picking up habits. Wicked good at it. I'll pick up a habit in a heartbeat. Look at this bike. How long have I been sitting on it? You don't think this is a habit by now? You hear the expression, do something 21 days, it becomes a habit? Do the math. See how many times I've sat on this bike. This is a habit. Jumping in the pool after this ride's over has become a habit. My point is this. Since we know we're pretty good as human beings at picking up habits, well, think about this. Think about the habit that you're trying to quit. All right? Or the one that's nagging you. How easy was it to pick up? Here's the problem. It sneaks up on you so you don't notice it. And all of a sudden, it's too late. There it is. It's like how a green tree snake. I don't know if this is true. Again, it's just a cool story I heard. I probably heard of somebody like a public speaker say it. But a green tree snake, a bird will sit by a green tree snake. Can't see it because it's camouflage, and the snake will move so slowly, the bird doesn't notice it, and it just bites it. It's kind of like addiction. You don't really, it moves in slowly. You don't see it. All right. So habits are pretty easy to pick up, but they're hard to quit, right? So one thing that I would urge you to do if you're trying to quit, number 1, download the app. Number 2, start journaling. Number 3, start filling your day with start picking up habits. Start like this, like me on this bike. Start filling your day with good habits. Trust me, it'll help. It won't leave room for the bad ones. All right, so another thing is this. Things that you did when you were using. You know what I mean? Places you went, people you hung out with, music can be a trigger. But a lot of times when you get sober, it's going to mean no, I shouldn't say sometimes. Listen, it's going to require massive change on your part. You're going to have to stop hanging around with certain people. You're going to have to set boundaries and be good with them. It's that important. If you don't think it's a life or death thing, I'm telling you it is. It just is. It's a life or death thing. Now, relapse. Let's talk about relapse. I always thought that relapse was falling off and using the drug of your choice. Let's see a show of hands. Who was under the impression, or is, that that's what relapse means? It's not. Let me tell you what relapse is. When you stop moving forward, it's relapse. I stopped riding this bike. Stop journaling. You know what I mean? Stop making videos. That's relapse. Move forward. My mom's got this thing she believes in, and I'm a believer. In your lifetime, I believe this. It's like the law of gravity. If I drop this, it doesn't matter whether you believe in the law of gravity or don't. It's dropping, right? I believe this is as much of a law as gravity is. In life, we're doing this, or we're doing this. And I mean, in business and relationships, spiritually, physically, mentally, in every way, shape, and form, we're moving forward or we're sliding back. My point is, there isn't this. I really don't believe there is. I think too often, too often, I think that people they listen to naysayers. Here's the thing. You're 10 times stronger than you think you are. There, all right? You're 10 times stronger than you think you are. How many people do you know who are sober? Every one of those is a miracle, but you're one of them waiting to happen. Now, let's talk about peppers a little bit, because peppers will help. Now, if you're brand new to the chili world, welcome. So glad you're here. However, if you've been around for a while, you know what you're going to find? Everybody look that way. I'm going to clean this off the porch too, but look that way. All right. I forgot how I was saying. You know what though? Let me tell you something. I forgot what I was saying. I scroll off. This is something important. Oh, I know what I was saying. You're 10 times stronger than you think you are. You really are. But we have these things called ants. And I say we because you got them. I got them. We all do. Automatic negative thoughts. And they come from experiences. Childhood, how you were raised, things that happened to you. But we have ants. Now, when I got sober, let me tell you what ants stand for. Automatic negative thoughts. We all have them. Everybody here has had them today. Every single person watching this video right now has had ants today. It's part of life. So, when you start getting antsy, you feel ants on your head, change environment, leave the room you're in, smell something different, look at something different, hear something different. Your mind won't be able to focus on the ants if you engage all of your senses in something different immediately, like smelling something, eating something. Not necessarily eating, because then that becomes the go-to thing, but smelling something, going for a walk, going for a ride. But it's interesting. 2 times I downloaded the I Am Sober app. One time I think I lasted 4 days. And I drank. I felt so guilty that I deleted the app from my phone because I didn't want to look at it. It was a reminder. And the ants would say, see? The reason I say that is when you get sober, you're going to have different ants. Okay? The ants you get when you start getting sober, they'll say how much time you've wasted. The brain wants the path of least resistance, and sitting around using is the least of resistance. I promise you this. So, keep your brain busy. And eventually, if you work at it hard enough and you really believe in yourself, and like I do, you know what? Let me tell you something. I do like a positive affirmation, stuff like that. I have positive automatic thoughts. I do. And there are ants. Well, I have positive automatic thoughts all the time. Now, the cool thing about that is having positive automatic thoughts have enabled me to hone in and get really good at knowing where the negative, my ants come from. There are certain people, if you have someone in your life that you meet with, you hang out with them, or they talk to you, and immediately following that, you got ants all over the place, get away. Set boundaries. But you're not going to be able to hang out with the people that you used to hang out with. If you take your sobriety seriously, you can't. How important is it? It's only your life. You know, if you had 20, yeah, I go through one, with a buzz on, see what it's like. You got 19 more. We all get one trip around, right? So let's do it right. We get one trip. Let's do it right. Be the best you can be. It's important. So, to recap, if you're still watching this, it's because we're trying to put something in the rearview mirror. You can do it. Download the app, I Am Sober. You have to have the resolve. It's not going to be easy. You know, when I hear somebody who has 20 years sobriety or 30 years sobriety, you know what I think of? I think of how many just awful days. You think when you get sober, life is, just roses? It's not. How many times in 20 years did that person have just the worst day in the world, but they didn't use? Or the best day, and they didn't use? It's amazing. What's going to make it all a lot easier is connections. I promise you. The more connections you have, the better it's going to be. And eat more peppers. Eating peppers, more capsaicin that you take in, capsaicin is the best. I mean, it's tragic. I gotta drink anything else. Wow. Anyway, you can do this. Get on the lifeboat. My brother Tommy has a channel called The Lifeboat. It's about sobriety. There you have connections. If anybody needs help, email me at chasetheheat@gmail.com. I'll help you get plugged in. I'll do whatever I can to help you. You ever watch a vampire movie? Dude bites the guy in the neck. The vampire bites the dude in the neck. The next morning, the light bothers him. He's a vampire. And what does he have to go out and do that night? Feed. That's addiction. You don't have to live that way. There's also medical assisted treatment for alcohol and everything. You don't have to suffer. But you sure as hell don't have to do it alone. You know why? Because we live in addiction alone. Whatever you were doing when you were using, you got to stop doing now. And things that you didn't do then, you need to start doing. Like I'll bet when you were using, you never made your bed. There's 9.5 miles in 30 minutes. I bet when you were using, you didn't. There's just a lot of things that get neglected when we're using. You know what I mean? It's true. But I'll tell you something, you don't have to live that way. I struggle with being proud of things. You know what I mean? I think it's a slippery slope. Pride, you know what I mean? But I'll tell you something. I'm far more proud of my sobriety. I can see rainstorms on the city. God, it's beautiful. I'm far more proud of my sobriety than I am the channel. Oh, it's starting to rain, so I gotta do this quick. Oops. So you can see the water just starting to rain a little bit. So I'll make this quick. I'll be over directly. And the payoff for my hard work. All right, I'm down over 10 pounds now, which is pretty good. I assume that I still think that I'm gonna do this quick because my camera's gonna get wet. I think that probably the promo code Johnny still works for Yasul, but do it quick because, yeah, even if you don't, it's $4.99. It's still stealing it. So, but for $3.99, it's crazy. In the description box, you're gonna see Yasul. You're gonna see ES Power Drink. Oh my goodness, wait till you try that. I'm gonna get a whole bunch of, you were right, Johnny, thank you. I don't know why I got out of the pool. Oh, it wasn't because of the rain. I didn't want my equipment wet. It isn't me, you know that. All right, so get some ES Power Drink. It's a game changer. Golly, does it taste good. Just want more of it. My son, Johnny Jr., just broke 300 subscribers. Thank you to all of you that have subscribed to him. Keep watching him and subscribing. Thank you so much. Right here is Tommy Scoville. We're gonna be, not my son, but Tommy, his son, and David Foy and I are gonna be at the Albuquerque Fiery Food Fest this weekend. I can't wait to see you guys. Right there are challenges. Right there's pepperology for new people. I love you guys. I'm Johnny Scoville. We can do this. We can do it. This was Chase the Heat.